Oakley, good evening, heroes and heroines, and welcome to Practising Programming in C, where we're going to be doing some stuff on Cinera. We've got 2 hours and 46 minutes and 32 seconds queued up. It's very doubtful that we'll do that full time, but we've got it queued up anyway. So, the things I like to do, I think I'm not going to bother doing this CSS identifier thing. I did have a quick look at the spec before the stream, and I kind of figured that I can't be bothered doing it. I mean, there are rules that you kind of have to do. You do have to follow, but I don't think it's not really an issue. Yeah, like we haven't really hit any cases where we don't handle the stuff correctly. So I think I'll just leave it, and when we need to handle it, we can handle it. Upgrade DB. I've kind of realised that. I mean, this isn't really going to apply either. Right, because previously the metadata files, which is what we're talking about in the database situation, the metadata files would have been associated with each project, obviously, because we only had one project per thing. So basically the way that we continue to do it now is that we've got the risky.index file, we've got the .index file, basically, right? This .index. So the way it used to work would have been like all of these .index files would have been accompanied with a .metadata file, but that's just not what we've got anymore. It's not there, is it? It's we now just have one Cinera.db file, right? So I sort of reckon that rather than upgrading the database, I think if we happen to encounter a version 3 database, I think we should just scrap everything, basically. Maybe we could preserve the main header, like the top Cinera block, but just remove everything else and remove any like .index file that's accompanied with it. Although I'm not sure that we could do that. We might not even be able to know that, actually. And then just just kind of let the thing proceed as it would have done. You might just make a note of that. Well, it's even for anyone lower than, yeah, it's just only preserve the Cinera block. Right, that's basically it. That's what Upgrade DB will have to do. Now, there is another part to it, and that is those .metadata files that we used to have. Remember that there used to be all these .index files used to be accompanied by a .metadata file. I'm thinking that if we don't do anything with those things, they'll just end up sitting around and and just clustering up people's systems. So I think we will. It'd be nice to actually get rid of those. That's not going to be part of UpgradeDB. That's going to be in SyncDB, I reckon. Right. So it's basically. Right. It's basically that. And also maybe remove the metadata and .index files if it finds it. Right, that's basically what I'm talking about. Make SyncD look for .metadata files in base church. It's basically that. Consider it gives DB structural padding. Yeah, I think we'll do that. And then deduplicating templates. Now I think another thing I'd like to do is add a .c flag to specify the location of the config. Could also add a 0 flag to basically do a dry run. Right. I don't know if I don't know what it should be. But if in fact we just do that, so it won't actually produce any new stuff. And then I'd like to also check in the actual include thing. So do we call it an identifier? I think we call them identifiers. Because it's not really, I don't think it's a directive. Wait, the include identifier effectively it's basically resolved the paths correctly. Right, so what that basically means is if that makes sense. And I think that's it. So this thing here we decided not to do. At least not yet. So let's do these things. Upgrade DB, make it only preserve the Cinera block. Yeah, I think we'd like to do all of these things. Maybe we could add to duplicate the templates as well. I think once it might be nice to go through all of these things, then do the deduplicate templates, and then we'll be on to the situation where we can actually start to do the new template thing. And the new template thing will be the actual final thing that we need to do. So, where DB? I think in the next version as well, by the way, we should just straight up say that we don't handle files that aren't 4 and above, basically. Or 5, whichever version we're on. DB version 4 is the first that uses hex signatures. We should try and deprecate early versions and just enforce a clean rebuild for invalid DB files. Perhaps do this either next time we have a bombed version or when we swap single edition. So we can only come into here if it's a valid Cinera file, can't we? Right. Alright, that only gets called in that situation. So if the original DB version is less than the Cinera underscore DB version. Well, yeah, I mean, some of the earlier versions didn't have the Cinera block, did they? Right, so that only pops up there. Yeah, that's what I was saying, wasn't it? The version 4 was the first one that had the Cinera thing. Yeah, entry count is just not relevant to anything. I think we're always saying that there needs to be a projects block. Like this isn't. This block's changed now. But we're saying that we always have a projects block, and we always have an assets block after the main Cinera block. So only header change. I think that's something, isn't it? So that's true there. But I think it's set to false in case 2 and case 3. Oh, I've got a feeling that this isn't getting compiled in. Yeah, this is the thing, that we don't have this anymore. Should we just forget about case 1 and 2? And 3, for that matter. Because nobody's using them anyway. It would be nice though to actually preserve this in some way. I mean, I suppose it's always going to be in the repo, isn't it? So if I ever need to refresh my memory as to how I did this in the first place, it'll be in there. Could leave that note as well, couldn't I? But yeah, effectively, right, if we're only talking about case 4, probably all that would need to happen is, what's happening here exactly? Should that break? Cycle. it's always falling through, isn't it? But I mean, we're getting rid anyway. So yeah, if it is a case 4, then what we want to do is get our DB4 and basically take the DB metadata right? It's basically that, isn't it? Original header size, apparently we kind of need that, do we? I'm not sure if we do, but let's say that we do. So you've got your DB4, and then what we actually want to be saying is what do we want to be saying? DB5 header. Yeah, just set the current ones to the actual current one. But you just hard set the block count to be 2 as well. And then just stick the project blocks. So it's a DB header. Is that right? Yeah, a DB header. It's similar to this lot, isn't it? I don't think I'm going to bother, by the way, using the actual global db.header, am I? Alright, so db hex signature. Where is that set? Cinera DB version. Okay. Current app version. Can I actually do this? Not sure if I can. What's that complaining about? Has no member name signature, does it not? Database for... Oh, right. So apparently I can do that. Is that how I used to do it? Yeah, it is. Current HTML version. HTML version dot pretty sure you could do that. And also, can't I just do that? Right, I mean, I know that I'm doing this separated out here, but isn't this just the same type? HTML underscore version dot major. Current HTML. Ah. Yeah, I'm not sure why exactly I was separating these guys out. Because they're the same type. I do need to separate these because these aren't the same type. Are they? In major, minor, patch. This is the type HTML version. Where's with type version? In major, minor, patch. U in 32. Yeah, I'm not sure if you could just cast it to our version. But I don't mind too much. So there's our initial stuff. There's our current initial stuff. And then the block count. How do we do this? Is it initdb? It's kind of interesting how here I do actually like to use that db.header, the global person. So should we just do that? Or it's literally just this. Wow, I didn't expect that to exactly quite work like that. That's cool. Right, and then this would mean... Oops, blimey. I don't think you can actually do that. I mean, if you want to be strictly correct about it, I guess you do that. Also, I'm not sure I care about the original header size actually, for that matter, because I'm probably just going to just write these guys out. Basically just write out the db4.header. Sorry, write at the db header, the db projects block, the db assets block. What else is that doing? Config database location. db.metadata.path. I think this should already be set, shouldn't it? Right, we should already be straight up set up to write this stuff out, as far as I'm aware. initdb happens. Upgrade DB is happening here. So this is where we are. We're in upgrade DB. Yeah, so if that, yeah, we've completely initted the file. So we can just write to it like normal. So at this point you just do is this right? I think this is right. Yeah, it might be nice actually to set the locations of those dudes. Which should be a piece of cake. It's just essentially project block. Sorry. Is it that? Or is it this? I think it's just that. And it's also this. Yeah, I suppose that's another way of doing it, isn't it? Is it enough to simply set the byte? I wonder. Right. I mean, we're using the byte for the assets block. Shouldn't we be also using it for the projects block? Right, because we set that there. Let's just take a quick gander at side-posted file. Project block, project parent, project header. So that's only if that is even set. Yeah, I reckon we just do the same as that guy over there. I reckon. Which is to say, do that. Cycle the signposted file, and then just set these guys to be this essentially. Is that true? Signpost projects block bytes. Does cycle signpost file touch the byte? No, I don't think it did. Ah, hang on. It does, doesn't it? So it sets the bytes to be equal to the pointer, but that's only if this is set. F close fuel from the buffer. F close. I mean, I suppose we could just take off. We can just say off just another byte, basically. Right. That gets out of the sticky situation that could happen if that point is set. Well, hang on a minute. Now that I think about it, initdb happens here. That happens here. And then upgrade to db happens right here. So actually, yeah, those pointers won't actually be set. So yeah, I think we're safe. We can just set those bytes, no problem. Cycle the temperature file, and then we actually set the actual bytes. Set the actual pointers. I think I might get rid of this. I don't think that's helpful for us anymore. Got a feeling that only original header size isn't used anymore. So it's set, but it's not used. Let's get rid. Now, for the cases of 1, 2, and 3, now what are these guys doing? db3.header. Oh right, we do the test here. Did we do that test in 3 as well? I think that's what we just wrote, wasn't it? No, we just wrote 4. So yeah, again, since nobody else is going to have any database versions lower than 4, I mean, it's just kind of it's a bit cheesy but somehow weirdly fortunate that I just happen to know that that's the case. At least I think I do. So I can just like do the cheesy sort of handling of it, which is that effectively don't handle it. So if it is a version 3, for example, yeah, I just sort of feel like we just do a test here, and we just say that if the if the original DB version is less than 4, we just sort of say sorry, we don't handle it. Pretty sure that we sorted this out, didn't we? Interesting thing about this is that nobody, this is doing the current app version anyway, so nobody really needs to bother doing the current versions. So let's save it from doing that, I guess. Because after this has happened, the very first thing that it does is this. So the only thing that would happen is that this could end up not being set just briefly. Let's let it happen. Who cares? Doesn't matter. Pretty sure that's all you need though. Right, just copy the stuff across from the old headers and create the new blocks. Now we can't even really test this because we don't actually have one of those files. Well, I guess we kind of do actually. Where did I put these guys? So this is a version 4. Where is it? Config Cinera. So if I just do this and rerun, I think we should see that this happen, I think, shouldn't we? Hello version. Yeah, we just are handling it, apparently. So yeah, that sorted that. Now, I guess another interesting thing to sort of think about is what has that done with all the .index files? Right, has it screwed them up? Or has it not screwed them up? Yeah, it screwed them up. Yeah, it's outputted the stuff twice. So yeah, if that happens, this is the second part of the process, isn't it? So in the old case, now I just copied this in, copied that cinera.db file from like an old debug thing, so it wasn't actually kind of produced naturally. If this had been produced naturally, then I would expect to see a .index file also here. ignore that it matters now, because nothing happens after it. I don't think that we necessarily need to care about handling this situation right here. The situation being the .index file sitting around. I do think that we want to handle that here. Yes, this insert product calls this function, as does the guy below it. So I reckon here, where I do this base directory thing, I reckon what we can do is search the base directory for a .metadata file. If we find a .metadata file, then we remove that and the .index file. Right. And I think that would clear everybody up. Now that won't actually handle what we just saw. But I do just think that's okay. You know, because we've only managed to trigger that actual situation by manually moving some database file around. Right. If that had just been produced organically, then it should all just work okay, I think. So just to give a bit more explanation, the old files were basically things like code.metadata, right, and that was accompanied with a code.index file. Right, so if somebody has set, if for some reason somebody's decided to set in their config the database file to be at code.metadata rather than at cinera.db, right, like effectively if they'd done this, where's the base directory? Base dir. Do you have the database? There's the DB location. So yeah, effectively, if they'd done this, I think this would work. And then probably project, I would guess. Right, if somebody decided to do this, thinking that they still need to do a different database, well, I mean that wouldn't even be valid though, would it? Because actually, yeah, that wouldn't be valid because you'd have multiple DB locations. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure I can trigger. I'm not sure I can really generate the case I'm trying to illustrate. So let's just leave it. I don't think it shouldn't be an issue. Let's leave it and let's just handle the old situation, which was when setting the base directory, if we find the metadata file in the directory, then remove that and remove the index file. I'm pretty sure it would just be in here. So, how do we search for something in a directory? Yeah, I mean, also we do have we could also potentially use the projects name, couldn't we? HTML dir handles, what's this? Open dir. I think it's just all this, isn't it? If we can't find a base directory, what does that mean for us? Do we care? I don't think we care, do we? I'm going to say we don't care. But I'm going to say if we do get the base directory handle, yeah, I mean, we can only do this if we actually get the base directory handle, can't we? That's the thing. So we don't care if it fails, but we need to know if we actually get a base directory handle. I mean, this is base dir files. Oh, right. We don't care about this. So, what is this? Take away stringless dots. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's just this, isn't it? Is that right? I mean, if it's if you find a file that ends in metadata, then remove that file. Right, but the thing is, you also only if you find that file do you then go and continue looking for the .index file, effectively. So what is this? Base dir files. Dname. I suppose it's just one file actually, isn't it? Is that right? What exactly is a direct end? Null terminated file name. Well, that's what you need, isn't it? It's just the file name. Right, I think. Okay, so if that probably also worth mentioning. Actually, let's make it to do. Remove this section for the next version. Does that sound fair? I mean, by rights, you kind of need to keep everything, don't you? You know, because I could push a new version of something that somebody hasn't actually run, so then this code has never been run anyway. Yeah. I think that would be sufficient. No, we are shadowing that pointer, but maybe I don't care. I guess this guy doesn't need to do that second check. But yeah, I think that's what I'd like to have happen. Have I done everything that I need to do? Got the base door, open that base door, freed the string. Yeah, I think that's alright. So if I just run it now, it ain't actually going to be able to do anything because we don't have any .metadata files sitting around. So I think we shouldn't ever hit that case and we shouldn't do anything untoward. Yeah. But I could sort of hack it by just taking this file what was it? It was code.metadata. Right. And just stick it in here. So we've effectively got this, and then what we'd also have, well, hang on, we wouldn't have anything else, would we, actually? Yeah, that'd be all we've got. But if I run that, I think we should at least find that code.metadata gets deleted. I think. So there's code 002 QA popped up there for some reason. Oh yeah, I think that's okay. So code.metadata did not get deleted. Did I spell it right? Metadata. Oh, and that's probably not got hit because we actually have it, don't we? Is that true? Oh yeah, because this isn't going to get hit when we're inserting. So that wouldn't exist. Right, Cinera.db wouldn't exist. Trust me on this one. Code.metadata is still sitting there. So I suppose I need to step in and just see what's going on. Moved our metadata file. While I assume while redirectory succeeds. Why exactly is there so many parentheses there though? If an error occurs, null is returned. So I think we should be within our right to do that test. Oh right, so it's suggesting parentheses, that's probably why then. So let's read that file once more and step in at line 9772. Basically we want to be able to get ourselves into here. So we're looking at somebody, hero. So this ain't gonna get found. But let's see what happens. So it is getting into here at least. Interesting, it's not this. We want to be looking at code. So here we go. Metadata. I guess we could just keep printing out that base files dname. I'm not exactly sure what that means. So it's looking at the current directory and then the parent directory, okay. Now it's looking at code.index. Oh. Right, so it sees that first and then it... That's unfortunate, so we need to handle that at least. Index.html. Why is it not seeing code.metadata exactly? What is the P base dir? Home at temp Cinera test hero code. Test hero code. So I think I'm looking at the right directory at least. mean, do we ever get to there? We do get to there. Now, what is base directory files? Do you know exactly? Oh. We need to produce the whole path. So there's a couple of things. We need to produce the whole path, and we also need to somehow rewind the base directory files to be the start of the read dir, so we can actually remove the index. Can we do that? Get dense read dirfd ftw rewind dir. What does that do? Perfect. What does this not like? Too many parentheses. Right, so that's going to be a length string, which we need to actually pass like this. And then one of these, and then that. So we remove that entire thing. And then free that. And then do this. And then if this happens, then we do this. Pretty sure that's it. So let's try that once more. Where's my cursor? I guess we could just step into it. There it is, gone. Yeah, I mean, we do actually hit that quite soon, don't we? Probably now, yeah. And then is the index gone? That's what I want to have happen. Oh yeah, and then we need to break. Well, I mean, we might as well break. So that's going to break it out of this guy. We've removed the old metadata file. And then we're done. And then I don't think we should get any duplication of anything. Yeah, so that's simply just to kind of deal with the fact that the older versions used to stick a .metadata file in each base directory. I think this should be okay. I mean, the worst case scenario is that it's not sufficient, and we just need to ask people to, I guess, remove the .index files and rebuild it all afresh. I think. I suppose one thing we haven't tried, we haven't really tested what happens when we don't have an index file. Like if the index file gets deleted, but the database file is still in existence. Well, we can just test it, can't we? Does it crash? Yeah, it does. Yeah, if it thinks it's reinserting. Maybe. Well, how do we actually catch it? We've got a database that's got stuff in it. Which process does it start up? Search engine location. Maybe the entry insertion start. You know, when we determine that size, when we do this accumulation, So basically, what this is supposed to be doing is going through the entries in the database. So in the projects block, it's going to be going through all these entries, and there's a size, probably that, and probably this. I'm not exactly sure what it would be actually. These might be the insertion offsets. So it could be this. This could be the size, maybe. But anyway, there's going to be a size in here that's corresponding to the size of the thing in the .index file. So the idea of this function is that it tots up those values. Right? This thing here. Now, how can we actually handle that? Like if we've got a valid metadata file, but the index file is somehow got busted. I guess it would be kind of like, it's not going to be 100% reliable, but it'd be effectively, if this value if the entry insertions start where did we crash? It was 7704. Yeah, how can we fail gracefully though? I was going to say DB file buffer location. Yes, it's kind of nasty. I'm going to make a note of this because I'm not sure exactly what the solution should be, but it's effectively like um, right? I don't know how to don't know how to deal with that just at the moment. So let's leave that as a to do. We have upgraded the DB. We have made that happen. Considering the DB struck some padding, so let's do that. So yeah, it seems like what happened was this guy, it did produce this. So it managed to get one entry in probably. Yeah, and then it's got garbage. Yeah, so we need to just somehow handle that. Not exactly sure if this is going to be working. Just seems to be. So, the database structures. I suppose the easiest thing would be to just print them out, wouldn't it? DB blocks. I don't think we care about the DB blocks having any different sized stuff. But let's just, I think it's actually all just, they're all listed in here, aren't they? Well, I mean, maybe not. DB block projects. DB entry. So I guess we could bump the DB block assets is that large, is it? Our DB asset is 73. DB landmark is 16. Interesting that DB header 5 is 64. So what does it actually contain? It contains that, and then there's another block count. I think that's fine. And then the DB block projects. Yeah, I don't think we need to reserve any more space for that, I don't think. . DB header projects, ID title, base directory. We could reserve, we could bump this up to 512, so let's reserve 80. A DB entry, we could probably reserve some stuff for this as well, actually. So 160, let's go up to 256. Is that sensible? So that's going to be increasing it by almost half of what it currently is. Yeah, let's just do it. So we need to add 72, is it? What did I say? 256. DB block assets. A DB header assets. Ah, right, okay. So we actually need to make this a bit of a different thing. Did I add something to the header? The previous header, I think I did. What could this ever need to use? I guess there could be other types of assets, couldn't there? Right, we've got the CSS dirt, there could be another one of these. $358. Let's take it up to 512. And there's only one of these in the thing, by the way, so that's not a big deal. So what's that? 100 and something. Something like that, maybe. The DB asset. So we've got the file name, the type, the hash, and the landmark count. Yeah, let's reserve some stuff. Not sure what for, but let's take this one up to 128. So we need to add on 55, is that right? Add a DB landmark. So we've got a couple of things. We've got the generation index. Guide size. So if we've got a template block, for example, I think the asset only needs to know about the individual files. So it only needs to know about the entries, it doesn't care about the templates. Yeah, I think that DB landmark should be sufficient. DB block projects. I guess this could just be the odd one out. I mean, we do like the number 12, so if any of these are going to be the odd one out, it would be the one with 12 bytes they would like to have as the odd one out. Base file name length. .32. So that's 128. Take away that. Take away something more and take away something more again. We sized it such that the DB entry is 128 bytes total. Well, should we be a bit more sensible about what this title length should be? Yeah, I'm not bothered about the description. I guess basically it's about your channel down there. Optimize your YouTube title. You got 100 characters. Shortened to 70 characters in the search results. Okay, so let's just say that you got 100 characters. What does that give us? Probably should actually let this happen first. Oh, it was up here, wasn't it? Could be worth looking at what Vimeo's max length is as well. So what was that? Probably affecting the DB entry. What was it before? It was that. Ah, was it 256 we got to? Okay, so we just need to reduce the amount of reserved. Title's going to be maximum of 128, so let's support the larger one. I wonder about people like PeerTube. I assume this is for the actual technology behind PeerTube. Oops. Come on, interface tools. $5.12 to run a script. Yeah, I'm not sure if I can find it. I mean, maybe there is no limit for this one. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to find it. Cool. This is all good stuff, by the way. I should put on record. A good code of conduct is a good thing. So yeah, we can't find it. But if we've got 128 characters for that person, so that we can support Vimeo's longest titles, then what that means for us is that the amount of reserved space that we want for our DB entry 5 is not 96, it's actually 256. Is it 56 less than this? No. Okay. So all powers of 2, apart from this, which is 12. I think that should be okay. So if we just remove that. I'll let this happen. I suppose it's worth mentioning that that seemed to go quite slowly. And I think it was going slowly because it was finding it's finding code.index files. It's finding .index files, right? I think. Yeah. And basically it was just unable to actually handle the fact that there was already an index file there. So there's going to be multiple of these guys. Yeah. And that's simply a product of deleting the thing, deleting this, without deleting the actual things. If we do this, I think this should feel quicker. I think it felt a little bit quicker. Yeah, now I've got just the one version of it. Shouldn't it be the Emacs tutorial as well? What happened to that? Oh, can't get there. I assume though that it's just a case of we don't have the credentials for it. Schmear fetcher and intention for the win. Yeah, we're gonna need those guys. I suppose let's just add them to the config while we're here. There's Martin's, there's me, effector, intent for the win, wheat dog. So it's just Schmear that we're missing. Casper. There's Emacs. Okay. So now we've done this. Add a C flag specify the config. Add that flag. Make the included entry result of password correctly. How long have we done? I think we've done we've done a couple of hours. I think what I'll do actually, I'll call it a day here. Yeah, could have done a couple of hours. And do those things on the next day. So basically all we did today was, it was just the database stuff really. So there was miscellaneous and database v5 stuff. Right, and then this stuff here is going to be to do with more config stuff again. Miscellaneous config stuff. And then deduplicating the templates. We still need to think about how to gracefully handle this. Yeah. But let's call it a day. So thank you very much, Heroes and Heroines, for being here, for being fantastic and beautiful. And most of all, for being what we've done. Padded. Yeah, cheers for being padded. So until next time, farewell for now.